Joining us, entertainment journalist Holland Reed, also Dr. Erik Fisher's with us as well. Holland, let's backtrack. What was your reaction when you first heard about the death of this legend?
My first reaction was shock and disbelief. It's surreal that a man with this much energy and immeasurable energies, his work is now only going to live through, what we see on television. It's just surreal that he's no longer with us in the way that we, expect him to be. We're always waiting for something next from him. We're excited about it, like, little kids on Christmas. And now we don't get to wait for the next thing that Robin does. Is just unbelievable.
It really is. Hey, Dr. E, tell me about, we're hearing from our callers an emotion as to what Robin Williams meant to them. Tell me about that and that sense of community we're feeling on this day.
Well, I think what we have to realize in terms of people's loss, there are some people who do reach beyond just our surface and they reach into our soul. And Robin Williams was certainly one who did that through his ability to reach us with laughter as well as to reach inside and grab our tears and some of the roles he played. When people have such a profound sense of loss around very public tragedies such as this, I also think it connects with other losses that we've had in our life, whether it's been the loss of a father, a brother, a friend, and also other suicides in similar situations, that it really resonates with the pains inside of each of us. What I think we have to look at is that if more people felt comfortable talking about the pain they felt deep inside and working it out, we probably would have less tragedies like Robin's situation, other situations that we've seen throughout time.
Very well put, and that's one of the messages that people are taking away, and we should. That the battle with depression should be one we all rally around that person, and maybe we don't do it as much as we should. Let's take another number. Dr. Erik Fisher's with us, along with entertainment journalist Holland Reed. And Holland, again, it's, we can hear the emotions in all of our callers, and I'm sure if we all let ourselves go, we'd feel them as well. We love and loved Robin Williams and what he meant to us, right?
Absolutely. He was so vulnerable in his approach to his talent and then also his relationships with people that he met. Every single person that I talked to says that he was so down to earth, so open, so welcoming and loving. Being on set, like the caller talked about, another extra said that when she was on set, he was the only person that helped out when she dropped her bag. He no bounds. And for anybody, if I can just say as a survivor, it's very emotional for me to talk about this, but if anybody out there is struggling, get help because this is preventable 100%.
Well put. Paulette said that. Here's another post from Frank. It's really rough to think he spent his life making other people smile and he was hurting behind his jokes. Depression is real. So many use laughter to distract from how broken they really are on the inside. Dr. E, what about that? It's kind of that sad clown. Somebody else tweeted me about how the comedian lightens my soul. What lightens the comedian's soul? The soul of a Robin Williams.
Right. Well, I think a lot of times we almost become addicted. He talked about the incredible endorphin release he had when he had a joke that did well. And I think if you look at it, there's an addiction that we get to that feeling, that high, and when the laughter's gone, the pain and emptiness often returns. And I think we have to look at here's somebody who had a history of a difficult relationship with his parents. They weren't as emotionally present as he felt he needed. And he talked about his love me syndrome that he had with his mom. He tried to use jokes with her to connect with her. He was bullied as a young adult and often had to use humor to get the bullies to leave him alone. You have an issue here with cutting and the cutting behavior. So his whole issue really raises a lot of things that we need to still look at and change in our society. But mostly when you see somebody who's always got a joke for everything, stop and look beneath the surface and really get to know them, because sometimes they're using that humor to keep people away as much as to pull people closer to be their friends.
They'll put somebody use it to deflect when they really want to say something really that's aching their heart.
When he's talking to the math professor and they were arguing over what would help Matt Damon's character, that is so realistic. As far as, unfortunately, a lot of people just think that people can just get over their issues, and it's not that simple.
Right.
And then when you talk to Matt Damon, you played that a while ago, and I've been crying all morning. Like I said, I worked in psych units, I work in the night, and I just feel that's so irresponsible and so dangerous to people that might be suffering from issues right now.
Yeah. Hey, Dr. E,
on national TV to say that.
Scott, yeah, I'm glad you brought that up in a sense. Dr. E, that's what we're dealing with. That's what people who struggle with mental health issues deal with, that they're somehow lesser. They're hurting as much as anybody.
Well, and that's why people hide. They hide behind the stigma, because there's so many ways that we judge people in our culture rather than seeking to understand. And we have to understand that, you know, as long as we look at people as being less than or having a problem that makes them worse off, we shouldn't feel sorry for people. We should seek to understand, to help and support them through things and guide them and be guided by what they can teach us through their own experience.
And Holland, I heard your emotions in your voice. Why do you think that's so? Why is it to use a phrase, is it lesser than if someone battles a mental health issue, but if someone battles a physical issue, we're right there with them, no questions asked?
You know what? I just go back to that belief that if you don't see it, if it's not bleeding, if it's not broken, if it's not something that's obvious and in your face, then people are more skeptical of it. And with fear comes ignorance and comes a lot of judgment. This is that you should not place on people that are really, you know, having this inner turmoil that they can't maybe explain or verbalize because they have to make it through every day looking completely healthy, looking fine, and smiling and performing and putting on, and they keep themselves out, but nothing is filling them up. So then you get left with somebody that is sick and can't really describe physically what it is to somebody that is not looking deeper to the issue, like the doctor was saying. For me personally, when I started verbalizing what was going on with me mentally, that's when I began to heal, because I was able to say, put something to it, assign words to it. You're only as sick as your secrets. People have to start speaking up, and the more you speak up, the more that it's out of you and it's less festering inside of you.
Yeah.
But it is an ignorance and it is a fear within, you know, I mean, I'm sorry, when people are looking at people with mental illness, it's just a lack of understanding that no, it's not bleeding or broken, but it is still completely real.
Well put. Maurice posting this. Many people that live with depression keep it hidden from family and friends. Being able to laugh and have a good time does not mean that you're not depressed. More. In the meantime, let's go to Dr. E, or Dr. Erik Fisher. Do you have a favorite moment from Robin Williams, a role, a scene that you remember?
Well, I think there's a couple. I do want to take a segue from what that comment was just made. Is with suicide, so many times people have to understand it's not their fault. Nobody in Robin's life should feel it was their fault, you know. But one of my favorite lines was just in Mrs. Doubtfire, where he comes up from the cake and hello. You know, I love that line. And he was the indomitable Peter Pan in Hook.
Yes.
That was his.
Yes.
That captured who he was, the essence of his soul, and he just brought so much joy to me when I saw what he did. I was always looking forward to what he was going to do next.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, we have mentioned Good Will Hunting, and it's when I was asked today, that was the clip I picked. It's not your fault. It's so powerful. It brought a tear to my eye earlier. It may again. So let's watch it. Matt Damon. He won an Oscar for this role as well. Here it is.
It's not your fault. It's not your fault.
To hear that. Dr. E, time's ticking on us here, but echo that.
Right.
I mean, let's not be ashamed to ask for help. And if you're around someone who needs the help, jump in. Don't wait.
Right, and I think sometimes people, though, who feel depressed and suicidal do see somebody's success as an opportunity for them to succeed with suicide. But please see this as a reason to live, not a reason to end your life, because you don't know how many people will love you or miss you when you're gone. You don't know that then, and it's too late. You got to realize people care about you here now.
Real quick.